Hello there, it's Vanessa here from Wealden Green, and this is our video on paper piecing, a traditional form of handmade patchwork that's great for upcycling. Here's some of the things you'll need: a ruler and pencil, some scrap paper, scrap card, a pair of scissors and some different coloured threads, and some sewing needles, hand sewing needles. Fine ones are best. You can use scrap paper and scrap card. I tend to use old greetings cards, and this is where we're going to start. You need to cut the card into the size you want your patches. Now you'll see I'm going to do a small one here, and then you're going to use that card as a template to cut a lot of bits of paper. If you're going to make a small cushion, you might just need a few. If you need to make a big quilt, you're going to need lots of these paper squares, but you can use any old waste paper. Then you want to cut the fabric about 1/2 centimetre to 1 centimetre bigger than your paper patches, just like this. And you want to tack the fabric to the squares by simply folding it over and running some big inch-long tacking stitches along. Here's one I've done already, and you can see the big stitches, and you can also see that as I'm using leftover fabric, the edges aren't always quite as wide as you'd like them to be, but that doesn't matter as long as there's enough to make a good join. Then you want to lay the squares out in the design that you want, and pick the first two you're going to join together and put them facing sides together, and the edge, line it up. And then you're going to over sew it. So you're going to put the needle in at right angles like this. I'm going to show you a little bit closer up again. Put the needle in like this, tie a small knot in the edge of your thread, and then keep sewing over and over and over again with tiny stitches, just picking up a thread or so. It's quite time consuming. Here you can see it takes me a while. I'm going to work my way along this side. When I've done, I'm going to do another lot of little tiny stitches together to finish it off. And as you can see, I've joined my first patches. Once you've got a couple in pairs like this, you can put them together and repeat the process along that long side. Lots and lots of tiny little over stitches, using a thread that matches one of the colours or is close to one of them. Here you can see a bit I've done beforehand, and you can see that I've got smaller patches here, and there are the tacking stitches. You can see them still in place. I'm working on a quilt that's all cream and whites, and as you can see here, I've taken out some of the paper, and that's left the clear patches in the middle. They need a press, but you can see I've done some applique and some pleating as well. So on my little cushion, I'm going to take the stitches out, just snip them and pull them out with a pair of scissors like you would with any tacking. And I need a backing, so I've got some more scrap fabric. This is an old duvet cover, and I'm going to sew around 3 sides and a little bit of the 4th. I'm going to use my sewing machine, but you can do it by hand. And that allows you to create the cushion shape, and then I'm going to turn it inside out. Now there is a good way to get those corners nice and crisp, and that's to use a pair of scissors. Don't use a sharp small pair, try and use a slightly bigger pair, and push gently because you don't want to push a hole through. Then as it's a cushion, it needs some stuffing, and what would be nice here is perhaps to use some lovely lavender or some scented flower petals. You can put that in, and then I sew up the edge, and as you can see, that's the finished cushion. Don't forget to visit us at www.wealdengreen.co.uk. Bye-bye.